and you want to talk into this camera.
What do you want to say? You didn't even
I just want you to talk about your whole story.
My whole story. Alright, so you just want me to just go?
Yeah.
You want me to say hello to anybody, or is it just like...
Don't say hello.
My name is Erik Erazo, and I'm also known as the Lowrider teacher today. But I think a long time ago, I was probably just known as a statistic. I'm originally from California. I grew up in the Bay Area. My parents immigrated from Guatemala back in the late 70s, and I was born in San Francisco. I grew up in an area that was pretty much controlled by gangs and chaos, and it was pretty rough, but at the same time it was home. But at 15, I actually got a girl pregnant. At 16, I was a dad. At 18 years old, I met my beautiful wife, who I'm still married to today. And so at 18 years old, my wife tells me that she's pregnant. So here I am, 18 years old and about to be a dad again. When I was 19, I had 2 kids. And I knew at that point that I needed to change my life. I was able to get my high school diploma through the mail. I actually found an ad, and it was in Lowrider magazine. I said, Lord, please show me a sign, show me something, because I need to get out of here. I need to do something with myself. I have these 2 babies that I gotta take care of. I have my wife, and I gotta figure this out. And so, believe it or not, true story, there's a big old sign in front of me, a big old billboard that says, En el army si se puede, which means in the army, you can do it. So I was like, dang, Lord, you actually showed me a sign. I pulled up to the recruiting office, and I went inside and I talked to the sergeant, and I said, Sarge, if I sign up to the military, can you get me out of here? He said, yeah, absolutely I can. So I was able to join the military. I went to South Carolina for basic training and AIT. I was a 63 Bravo light wheel vehicle mechanic. And after that, I was shipped off to Germany. Twins were born there. So all of a sudden now I'm in my very early 20s, and I have 4 kids, and 2 of them were twins, were born in Gießen, Germany. So my time comes up, it's either re-up or go home. I had this wife with this 3 babies, and I'm like, I need to probably head back to my house, or back home to California with my wife and kids. One of my cousins said, hey, why don't you come down here to Kansas City? We went to an old Price Chopper. On the way out, I bought one of those home buying guides. And I opened it up, and I saw how cheap the houses were here in Kansas City versus where I was from. I figured I need a job. So I told my cousin, I said, hey, can you take me to a security company? Because I bet you, since I am bilingual and I just got out of the service, they'll probably hire me for something. I went ahead and interviewed, and right there and then they said, hey, can you start tomorrow? I said, absolutely. I said, what am I doing? They said, well, we need you to be a security guard at a high school. One of the main hallways I used to walk every single day, over and over. But I remember I used to have to take kids to the office, check all the nooks and crannies, making sure nobody was doing anything they weren't supposed to be doing. And one day in particular, they asked me to go talk to a middle schooler that had just came to us from Texas, and he was all tatted up. I end up showing up to talk to this kid, and as I'm talking to him, the kid, looks at me, and of course I'm trying to act like a teacher, so I'm trying to talk like one. Hey, buddy, listen, you should make good choices, that kind of stuff. And the kid looks at me and he goes, you don't know what the you're talking about. You don't know where the I came from. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna talk to this kid and keep it real. And I said, homie, you don't know where I'm from. Right? And so I was able to talk to him about where I came from and the experiences that I had lived, and why I knew that this wasn't a good choice for him to do. And you know what? The kid listened to me. And I figured, well, maybe I'll become a teacher. So this was my first office, and it was just from like where that phone outlet is to the end of the desk. I actually felt like I had my own space. And that was a long time ago. This is where I first started with the detention room. This was the first ISS, in-school suspension, job I had where I actually felt like a teacher because I had a desk and a computer. This little cart, after work, I would take this cart, kids would scan their IDs, and this would sign them into detention. Every day after work, I would come in here to detention, and then I would drive down to Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and do classes until 10, 11 at night. So this was home. In here, and I had 5 desks in here for people to work out of. And I remember that, you know, it was crammed in here, but it was homey. We had kids in here, staff, everybody would come in here and just kind of hang out and got work done. The Lowrider Bike Club was designed on this actual wall. I started the club in early 2017. The first year we started the club, we only had 5 kids. Right now we have about 40 off and on that are signed up full time to our chapter. When we first started, it was a boys only club. And now I would say we have more girls than we do boys. There was kids that were slipping between the cracks and I wanted to reach them again. What I did was come up with something in my background, which is low riding. I created a lowrider bike. I had it at the high school. Kids wanted a bike. I would tell them if they wanted it, they can come build one. And so they started coming because of the bike. And then once they got there, they had mentoring. And so far, we're at 100% graduation rate with multiple chapters throughout the country. And it all started here. And this one you want to say?
Bike club is about making bikes, obviously. And it's about family and people coming together and having a place to hang out after school.
Do you enjoy coming to the bike club?
Yeah. I don't enjoy doing this right now because it's a lot of work. But other times I do.
Sergeant Logan Bonney with the Olathe Police Department. I'm assigned to the traffic unit. I mentor. So for the last 6 years, I've been coming to club, volunteering my time every Monday. I've seen kids that were getting in trouble. And then they realize that I find out about it. They don't want to disappoint me, which I thought was crazy because, you know, I'm not a parent. I'm just a mentor for the kids. Sometimes they're scared of police officers. So to meet a police officer before you're pulled over.
Clean up, hurry up. Let's get it clean. All right, so I'll show you guys a little bit of what my office, or my department, I guess, looks like today. But Liliana, who is my admin assistant, Linda, who is our lead interpreter, and Jane, who's our data entry person for the migrant program. And then I'll take you to the guys' room, if you will. It's for Gene Cantero. He helps us oversee our student programming. Ms. Isabel works out of this desk, and she is one of our migrant aides. Nick Johnner is our migrant specialist. And then I'll take you to my actual office. But this is my office now. It's not big, but it's a whole lot better than what I started off with. I have some awards over here. So I had MNU Teacher of the Year. I did Leadership Olathe, Diversity Makes a Difference Education Award, Cathedral Builder Award. I have an appointment here to CPAC, which is the Citizens Police Advisory Council, which I'm very proud of. Then you can kind of see my career trajectory. This is a newspaper that came out back in 2007. This is a class I used to teach called Lights, Camera, English. This came out in the Olathe Gazette in 2010. So I was picked as the Kansas Master Teacher, the Hero for Diversity Award, a service award from the Olathe Police Department. See some of my degrees from the military, my master's degree, proclamation for Hispanic Heritage Month through the county, the city. Got the Buck O'Neill seat. This was actually kind of interesting. I was in the front page of the Kansas City Star in 2012, I believe, and it actually talked about the learning gap that we had at the time that I was battling to try to fix and alleviate. When I was like 2 or 3 pages, I made the front seat of the Kansas City Star in 2022 that talked about the successes that I had where we didn't have a learning gap anymore. This is my little office. Again, it's not huge, but it's full of memories, and it really just talks about who I am, and I love it. It's really crazy to think of, you know, kind of where I started, where I had half of a desk, if you will, in a very limited space, to having not only my office but the different rooms that are adjacent to it as well. Like God talked to me and said, dude, all that craziness you lived, everything that's happened to you was for a reason.